Hey everyone, Rory and Kit here from This Paranormal Life.
Howdy.
We know it's been a little bit of a weird couple of weeks recently with people working from home, self-quarantining, so we thought it would be a good idea to release a bonus episode from the This Paranormal Life Patreon back catalog to you, the public, to keep you entertained. If you do enjoy the episode, there are 28 others uploaded on patreon.com, so definitely check it out. Make sure to keep safe, keep investigating.
Damn right.
And we will be back on Tuesday for a brand new paranormal tale. Enjoy! And I've got an incredible story this week.
Have you really?
I got a great one. Because the whole thing is, obviously every week we do our weekly episodes. And it's your run-of-the-mill, watered-down paranormal story. Oh,
I'm sorry, watered.
This guy saw
down?
Bigfoot.
Is that how you
Great,
describe
cool.
our frankly
regular
award-winning
ones.
podcast?
It is an award-winning podcast,
But it's also
most
watered down.
watery. That's
Wow.
what it. That's the award we should have got.
Wow.
We, every week we say it's a commune. On the bonus episodes, it's just a cult.
It's a cult.
It's a full-on cult.
Welcome to the cult cast, y'all.
You knew it the whole time, and we knew it. We didn't want to say it on the watercast. So here we are.
There's no water, all sauce. This is the hot sauce.
Well, it's interesting that we're talking about interesting liquids, because that is actually going to be our main focus on today's.
So this is the non-watered down cast, yet it is the first liquid-based episode in history.
Right, I can understand how this is very misleading. This is the non-watered down first episode on a water-based paranormal
You're
case.
sending me mixed messages, man.
Let's get stuck in. It's July 19th, 2018.
Holy shit.
That was like last year, a year and a week ago.
Your
pretty much.
birthday, no less.
It was, yeah. And we're in ancient Egypt, where a construction company is working on a new building site. While digging deep into the ground, one of the construction workers noticed something in the dirt. It looked like a hard stone that had been chiseled at. So he cleared more and more of the dirt away to reveal a human face staring back at him.
What?
Yeah,
That's not what you want to see on the job.
absolutely not. Him and his team carefully cleared the rest of the dirt and lifted the object out of the ground. It was a stone carving of a human head broken off of a statue. Wow. Now, when you're a construction team in the Egyptian desert, this is either the best or the worst thing that could possibly happen to you. Because either this is the start of some sort of undiscovered ancient tomb filled with riches beyond your belief, so you don't even have to make the building anymore, whatever. You've hit the jackpot. Or
Which is your dream as a builder, is to not have to build a building, because it's pretty hard.
it's really hot out there. You got sand in your eyes, sand in your ass crack. You don't want to be doing this thing. So as soon as you find this head in the ground, this could be it's like buying a lottery ticket.
Pretty much.
Because what's a little south of the head? It could be the rest of the body, or
Sure.
it could be a pharaoh's amulet
That's
worth enough
very
to
true.
buy a new building. You don't even have to build it.
I'm just imagining this builder just seeing the head and being, as an Egyptian builder, being so used to this that he just grabs its jaws, holding each side of its teeth, rips the head in half, picks the one gold tooth out, and throws the rest of it in the ground and gets back to building.
Because they're used to finding this stuff. Well, the problem is as well, there's also the chance that it's nothing, it's garbage.
Right.
And now construction has to be halted, probably for weeks and weeks on end, while archaeologists excavate the site to make sure you're not putting your jackhammers through a pharaoh's skull.
I don't know anything about archaeology, granted, but I'm about to tell you a bunch of shit as if I do. But
Welcome to the podcast.
Whenever I've seen digs on TV, I understand that industry such as construction and archaeology, they don't really get on with each other, because usually the contractors have a contract to get a building done by a certain date. So whenever pesky archaeologists come in saying, oh no, the Prince Tutankhamun's remains are in this area, we need to halt construction for just a few days for... Shut the f***
Kung, he shoveled.
We need to build a bowling alley here by tomorrow. We've no time for this historical crap. It's old, it's in the ground, it's done for. And so there's kind of that tug of war between the two factions. And very often, in different parts of the world, historical and archaeological sites can get steamrolled, literally concreted over by industry.
It's very true. Luckily, this wasn't the case in this situation. The archaeologists come in and they take over MIB style.
Of course.
You know, they rock up there and, you know, it's one of those cliche moments where the construction workers are like, who are you guys? And they'll introduce himself. He'd be like, he doesn't have a badge. He'll like flash a fossil or something.
Yeah,
and he's like,
because they don't have any authority.
Jack Diggins. I'm an archaeologist. And we just took over this site. And then the digger's like, well, no, we are in charge, not anymore. And, you know, the archaeologists behind him are seizing the shovels, taking over the whole operation. Which is good, because we need to find out what is going on at this site. So the team begin excavating the site, carefully digging deeper and deeper into the earth. And that's when they hit it. The hard rock of a tomb.
A tomb?
When the dirt was cleared, they were staring at an enormous 3-meter-long sarcophagus.
Oh my god. This is the Holy Grail. This is the jackpot, as you say. This is, if you're in Egypt and you're digging into the ground, this is the best thing you could possibly find.
Oh, 100%. It was the largest ever to be discovered in the city as well.
Really?
Yeah, this thing is enormous. I actually have a picture of it here, which you should check out.
Damn, let's see.
Look at the size of that.
Yo. So that actually looks interestingly, if I saw that, I wouldn't necessarily guess that was that old.
Yeah.
If I was a digger, if I was a builder or a construction site worker and I came across that, I wouldn't really know what I was looking at. Thank God these guys were there.
Yeah, it's not necessarily as ornate as you would imagine a sarcophagus would be, especially when you talk about pharaohs of legend who are buried in pyramids and you think of like, you know, them being buried in those rooms literally glowing with golden coins.
Granted.
This is very much, it looks like a slab of dark rock.
It's quite ominous looking.
Yeah, it really is. The archaeologists were extra excited because it looked like the sarcophagus had been completely undisturbed since it was buried.
Yes, because I think we've talked about it before in the cast, but sadly, a huge problem with Egyptology and archaeology in ancient Egypt is everything's been raided by grave robbers over the last few thousand years. It's like apparently surprisingly difficult to find anything which has not been looted.
Which is quite funny because obviously, you know, I don't know a lot about the ancient pyramids, but I do know that they built them in the desert to get away from pirates. I mean, that was the whole thing. Let's put them as far away from any source of water as possible. Little did they know there's sand pirates, there's land pirates, just as willing to plunder anything that they can find. These pyramids, these ships of the land are being raided by sand pirates.
At some point in the last couple hundred years, pirates realized that they didn't have to live at sea.
Yeah.
And actually, if they came ashore, life was good. And they could do many of the same pirate activities and wouldn't have to worry about sailing all the time.
It was the best ever discovery by the most barnacle-encrusted, sandy, sea wind blasted pirate the day he stole something on land.
Yeah.
He couldn't believe it. He was like, we can do this! We can do this on the earth! Yahar! Dock the ship, boys! We're going to the pyramids! And they all took off. I think that's when they actually parted the ocean.
Right.
In the Bible.
In the Bible somewhere.
Went straight down the middle.
Pirate taking a bite out of a live chicken. He's like, you see this, crew? It's a land tuna.
Now, judging by the shape, area, color, and design, they believed it was from around 323 BC.
Damn, a few thousand years ago.
When interviewed, the team said, "We're hoping this tomb may belong to one of the highest dignitaries of the period. The stone head is likely that of a nobleman in Alexandria. When we open the sarcophagus, we hope to find objects inside that are intact, which will help us to identify this person and their position."
Wow.
Now, the main problem with the sarcophagus is that this thing was big. It was heavy, and it was buried pretty deep. You couldn't just slide down a whip Indiana Jones style and push this lid off. It was going to take a massive team to get this thing open. So for the next few weeks, more people showed up with cranes, equipment, and everything they needed to open up this sarcophagus. They also recruited mummification and restoration specialists to ensure the contents that were about to be exposed for the first time in a millennia were preserved.
Wow, because you've no idea what's in there or how it's preserved.
Yeah.
But you do know as soon as you pop that lid, that thing's going to age like milk, ladies and gentlemen.
Because I don't know a lot about the science behind, something that has been sealed off for that long, being exposed to the new world and all the germs it has in it. Because in my head, it's like Indiana Jones style, drinking from the wrong cup. You age incredibly fast. You turn to dust and kind of fall apart.
Yeah, they like show that in the movies, right? Where you might open the sarcophagus and it looks incredible, but as soon as you go to touch it, it just crumbles in front of your very eyes.
Yeah, you're trying to pick up the amulets and they're turning to dust in front of you. All that sweet, sweet pharaoh gold is just crumbling into ash. I would be extra careful. I think the mummification guys is a good start. I think you should also probably enlist a wizard to cast some sort of preserving spell on the sarcophagus.
Just cover all the bases.
Yeah. Wizards, a warlock, a witch. These are all just
all
magic
magicians.
ones. Magician as well would be fantastic.
Sure. Clown, maybe, while we're at it.
A paramedic, in case something inside needs resuscitated.
Maybe some sort of mechanic. We don't know what's in there. There might be some sort of ancient mode of transport, some sort of ancient motor vehicle in there. Might need repaired. Yeah,
I think you're going to want a bomb diffuser in case there's explosives involved. I think you're going to want a bomb maker in case there's something that needs to be killed.
Yeah.
Definitely have at least 20 people with loaded guns pointed right at this thing.
We need at least one veteran general who wants to nuke this thing as soon as they open the sarcophagus.
And one general veterinarian, just in case it is a mummified cat of some sort that leaps out with its claws ready to go. Which actually we don't need the vet for because we're probably going to shoot the cat. So it's fine.
Yeah, I know. They turn to the vet like, how do we kill it? I don't know. I only know how to save cats.
You got to be careful with these things. That's what I'm trying to say. And obviously these people are. Now, obviously, as soon as the locals got hold of this, the people started throwing around the C word. Curse.
Course.
But local reports suggested that officials from the Ministry of Antiquities mocked suggestions that the sarcophagus could unleash evil forces or curses when opened, claiming that there were no inscriptions on the coffin that would suggest the bodies belonged to members of an ancient royal family.
I love that line of mocking. They're not mocking the idea of a curse. They're like, of course it's not cursed, dumbass. There's no magic inscriptions even on the thing.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird sentence because they're almost acknowledging that, yeah, there's a couple cursed sarcophagus out there, but it's not this one, you idiot. Do you see the skull carved on it? No, there's a happy face. This one's fine. After weeks of preparation, it was time to open the beast. What was inside? A lost pharaoh? Golden artifacts? Ancient tablets? With the team ready and everyone gathered around, they slowly lifted the lid off the sarcophagus to reveal 3 skeletons floating in red sewage water.
3 skeletons?
3 skeletons.
Wow.
Initial assessments showed the 3 skeletons were probably soldiers, with one of the skulls showing evidence of being struck by an arrow. But the lack of death masks, precious metals, amulets, or anything else meant the bodies were unlikely to be royal. Not exactly the gold mine you were hoping for.
Not exactly. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
It's still pretty intriguing why these soldiers, as they say, not from a high birth, as they say, not royalty or dignitaries of any kind, why they were buried together in this quite large sarcophagus.
Yeah, because I don't know, I haven't seen anything to suggest they were in the same family or anything like that. So maybe that was commonplace. Maybe they did, they're short. There was a sarcophagus shortage. They had to kind of just cram people into the same one.
It's essentially the equivalent of whenever you go to Starbucks and order a tall latte and then they yell back, "We're out of tall cups. Do you want the venti cup?" And I'm like, fine. It doesn't make a difference, I guess. If you're willing to give me the large cup, fine.
And then they're like, we're actually short of those cups as well. So we had to put 3 of your coffees into 1 cup.
Okay, I guess that's fine. Also, we're actually out of coffee and indeed venti and tall cups. Can we put this red ancient soup in a stone sarcophagus? I'm like, is it still £2.90? Yes. Fine. All right. Stone sarcophagus, red juice for Jory. At least get my name right. Come on. They've signed the side of it, Jory. Now, obviously, the whole point about mummifying a body is that it preserves the body and stops it from completely decomposing. Right.
But the examiners believed that the red liquid at the bottom of the sarcophagus had leaked in through a crack on the right side and caused the mummies to decompose.
Oh, interesting. So in a normal, good sarcophagus, is the idea that it's... So they obviously mummify the bodies, they use whatever chemicals keep them preserved, but I guess it also then has to stay dry. Nothing can get in that would affect them.
Exactly, yeah. It's a very, very strict procedure. Where I think any water in there is really gonna ruin the whole thing. Because that's bacteria, that's germs, that's things in that sarcophagus they're gonna eat and dissolve a body over time. Especially after a millennia.
Yeah,
that'll do
Jesus.
it. So they removed the skeletons, lifted the coffin out of the tomb, and cleared the site. There were no golden artifacts or jewels found, no ancient secrets. It seemed like the whole thing was a bit of a dud. But... what if the real treasure was in front of us the whole time, Kate?
What?
What if this red sewage water wasn't water at all? What if it was something more? Some sort of mystical mummy juice that's powers activate, but only when you drink it.
Okay, why would anyone think that? Because you didn't even just say it was like a ancient liquid, like a mummy liquid, like an ancient Egyptian liquid. You went out of your way to say it was sewage water.
That is what the scientists are calling it. The archaeologists, they believe they have every right to assume it is sewage water. It's disgusting red, rusty looking water rotting at the bottom of a sarcophagus.
We opened it up and all that was inside was like a toilet mummy and a stupid sewer water. It's like, I feel like you're just upset that there wasn't any good in there.
Yeah, you're upset it wasn't a lost pharaoh. And that's what's happening. These people they were blinded looking for gold coins. They couldn't see the goldenest coin ever.
Disgusting.
Mummy juice.
Okay, disgusting
mummy juice,
water.
my friend.
Okay, so it's not sewage runoff anymore. It's mummy juice.
It's straight up mummy juice.
Which is an uncomfortable phrase, I will say.
We're talking MILF juice right here, folks.
Okay, let's not call
Sarcophagus up MILF juice. This is the original gamer girl bath water. Those scientists should have bottled this shit up and sold it online. Well, it wasn't long before a change.org petition appeared online with the title, "Let people drink the red liquid from the dark sarcophagus."
Very quickly. How did this... You say not long. Like, how did anyone even find out about this? Why did anyone know about the juice?
So reports came out as soon as the discovery was made, and all the scientists... Obviously, they were saying, all we found were these 3 skeletons and some mystical mummy juice at the bottom of the sarcophagus.
Okay.
Which they obviously are trying to build up as no big thing. But us, the people with our eyes open, we can see what this is.
I just feel like it's weird if it's just water. If it's sewage water, why even mention it if you're the scientist?
I think because of a lot of the pictures that were released, obviously when we think of a mummy, we think of a very well preserved, beautifully wrapped, very dehydrated, dry mummy.
Okay, we get it. No juice.
No juice at all. But this was 3 skeletons soaking in this forbidden nectar. This tantalizing red soda.
You went from sewage to tantalizing nectar. Can I see an image at least of the juice?
100%. Your mouth is going
If
to water at
this
the
is
sight
not-
of this juice.
What I am expecting is a delicious kind of Bloody Mary style cocktail, if you will, floating at the bottom.
Not far off. Not far off. I mean, because when people say sewage water, I mean, that sounds... It's not doing it any favors. It doesn't sound really great at all. But I'm going to go ahead and say it. This looks delicious. This ancient Monster Energy drink looks freaking delicious.
You've changed your mind since you started telling the story about what you think about this juice.
Take a look at this. This is basically Powerade.
All right, folks, I'm just looking at the sarcophagus. You will die if you even touch that water. I mean, what's really scary is just how red it is. Why is it so red?
It's so red. I don't even think blood is that red.
It's the color of fake blood.
Yeah.
If you put food dye, red food dye, in a sarcophagus full of water
And skeletons.
that's what it would look like. Yeah, it's a little bit see-through, but it's quite murky, and I cannot stress how red it is.
It's strange because, as we said, they're claiming it's sewage water in a sarcophagus that's been sealed for 2,000 years, over 2,000 years. That does not look like the color of any type of sewage water, let alone one this ancient.
I know I don't understand how science works. I don't understand how any water is sitting there for 2,000 years.
Yeah, I don't actually understand that either. The petition was created by a Scottish game developer called Innes McKendrick, who worked on such big titles as No Man's Sky.
Oh, shit.
He stated in the petition, "We need to drink the red liquid from the cursed dark sarcophagus in the form of some sort of carbonated energy drink so we can assume its powers and finally die."
I'm sorry. An energy drink that makes you die?
He's just he's spitballing here.
Obviously. I think he's just saying whatever he needs to say to get the liquid.
To get it sold, yeah. To date, the petition has over 35,000 signatures.
Wow.
All brave paranormal enthusiasts volunteering to drink the mummy juice and find out what powers it contains.
Obviously. I mean, I don't know why I was surprised that Innes comes from the pedigree of developing for such games as No Man's Sky. A game about the beautiful infinite nature of the universe, the beauty, the purpose in discovering an infinite universe, of going out there as a solo adventurer and seeing all that the world has to offer.
Yeah.
It makes perfect sense that he would be the one to say, there are treasures here on Earth that we need to discover before we start going to space.
Yeah, and if he wants to see if he's making a game about exploring what the universe has to offer, the universe is offering us some bright red mummy juice.
Yeah.
And he wants to drink it. I, for one, salute. That's some Galactic 12 mentality right there. Innes, you just made the cut for the Galactic 12 because you best believe they're serving the liquid of the dead on that spaceship.
Because, back in the 60s, people had the opportunity to make history. Two great men made, the one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. They went to the goddamn moon.
Yeah,
they did what had never been done before. I truly believe that if Buzz and Neil were younger men and they were on the ground in Egypt today, they'd be drinking that juice. They'd be saying those words right before they drink that juice.
One small sip for man, one giant slurp for mankind as he shots back.
they like link their arms and take a shot each,
chasing it with Diet Vanilla Coke. I completely agree with you. Think about the first guy who went down on his hands and knees and sucked on a cow tit. People probably thought he was insane. You're drinking a cow's milk.
And maybe he was.
But these are the sorts of things that human beings need to do to become the intergalactic Egyptian time-traveling pharaohs that we were always meant to be. Now, this eventually grew to the point where Egypt's Ministry of Antiquities had to release a statement to the public saying, quote, "The liquid is neither juice for the mummies that contains the elixir of life, or is it red mercury. It's only sewage water."
You don't know that.
They don't know that. Nobody
do not
knows
know that.
Unless someone's drunk it, they don't know what it is.
They don't know.
According to
Sorry,
the...
I'm sorry, Mr. Expert. Have you drunk a lot of sewage water that I guess you know what it looks like?
So, oh, you haven't? You've never drunk a drop in your life? Then you don't know what it is. Then it could be mummy juice.
Unlike me, who has drunk literally liters of the shite.
Building up my tolerance, I've become basically immortal already through drinking it.
Because I don't want to die when I drink the mummy juice. So you know it's sewer water.
Of course! It looks like it smells like it, and I would know. I said I've drunk a lot of sewage water in my time. According to the Environment Protection Agency in the US, an average of 7 million people a year suffer from illness caused by exposure to sewage. But there is zero research into the effects of exposure to mummy milk, the forbidden juice.
You gotta stop calling it mummy milk. You can't call it that. I'm happy to continue the podcast. We gotta find a different name. MILF juice might have been better.
MILF juice. The skeletons and the red liquid were both examined and tested. The skeletons now, I believe, are in a museum. And I think I am right to state the red liquid of the dead was poured out on the road.
What?
Yeah.
They poured the liquid gold into the street?
I can't believe it either, brother. It goes without saying how livid I am. Now, I think it did go through some testing so they could try and find out what it was. So you know that they siphoned off little vials of it.
Right.
You know,
some sort of super soldier serum, if you will.
Yeah, Jurassic Park style, in like a fake shaving cream can, is like a whole vial of this forbidden juice.
Got it.
While they like pour out all the rest, they're like, oh, leave it. No, it's just sewage. It's sewage. But they got it. They got the samples. They've taken them back.
And meanwhile, on the streets of Cairo, underneath the ground, there's solid gold jacked rats running around down there with ancient Egyptian powers.
Oh yeah, I mean, you pour that thing anywhere near a graveyard and the dead are coming back to life. Well, let's take a step backwards and look at some of the theories as to what the juice is and why people want to drink it. As we stated before, some people think that this red liquid itself is the elixir of life. Some sort of immortality potion that, when consumed by you, would prolong your life to the point where it's everlasting, or maybe, you know, a shot every month keeps you young, and then if you stop, you'll die. But they are under the belief that, yes, this is this mystical, magical mummy juice that will make you live possibly forever.
It is possible. I mean, we talked about Tutankhamun on the podcast before. We know a little bit about what the ancient Egyptians used to do in their burial rites. It was all about burying you with items that would aid you in the next life. You might be buried with the riches of your lifetime.
Yeah.
To pay for the boat that would take you into the land of the dead.
Yeah, the gold coin.
Could it be that they were buried with the elixir to life? Maybe the elixir was given to them too late, obviously.
Yeah.
But they thought that it might aid them in some way to get across to where they needed to go.
Exactly. That's a great point. Some other people believe it will possess the drinker and unleash a mummy-style curse that will bring about the end of the world. Now, I think this is what the original petition was more in favor of, because it's let us drink it so we can finally die.
Right. It's almost like we got to fulfill a prophecy here.
Exactly. And, you know, it's not enough to just open the sarcophagus to unleash a mummy-style curse, but drinking this delicious forbidden liquid of the dead will cause some sort of mummy possession and unleash a earth-shattering, devastating, apocalyptic, ancient Egyptian-style ending that will just wipe out the entire earth and finally put all of this to end. Interesting.
I mean, from watching The Mummy Returns starring Brendan Fraser, I kind of am reminded of Imhotep. And I imagine that maybe through drinking this cursed juice, you maybe take on some kind of Imhotep-style curse. I know that he was able to turn himself into a sandstorm.
Yeah.
He could kind of unleash biblical plagues, it seemed like. I don't really know what he wanted, but he seemed to want whatever this juice wants.
Exactly, yeah. And I mean, there's got to be a reason why they put the juice in the coffin, you know? Maybe it was to preserve it until this year when it was unleashed, so it could be drunk by someone.
And listen, maybe it is sewer juice. Do you think that those... Listen, ancient Egyptians built the pyramids.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know that in the Great Pyramid, it's something like you can't slide a sheet of paper in between any of those stones? They are engineered to millimeter precision.
Oh, yeah.
You think they just left a millimeter gap in this sarcophagus for sewer juice to pour through?
Hell no.
That is a sewer juice entry vent.
Yeah, to get it in.
To get it in and marinate it and cook it over 2,000 years until it's finally ripe and ready.
I'm so glad you brought this up because this leads us into my theory about the whole thing.
Oh, the right one.
This is the right one. So what if this red liquid is some sort of elixir of life, but instead of drinking it, you soak in it?
Ah.
It's like in space movies, you know, when you're about to go to light speed, so everyone hops into their goo pods.
Right.
And
you can cryo chamber.
Yeah, you can travel for like 200 light years, and it's been, you know, years and years since you left Earth, but you pop out of the goo totally fine. What if that crack, Kit, didn't let the red water in, but instead accidentally let it all out?
What?
What if all three bodies were supposed to be submerged in the mummy juice and preserved so they could live for hundreds of thousands of years, but that accidental crack drained the juice from it, dehydrating the mummies?
So you think that they pioneered some sort of preservation technology we've not seen before?
Yeah.
But that until the juice leaked out, there were perfectly preserved bodies in there.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe even alive.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe that was it. They were just like, I want to see the year 3000. Put me under.
They do. 6 feet straight down with the everlasting mummy juice. They're like, great, when we're discovered, we'll be totally preserved. They didn't realize there was a crack at the bottom. The juice drained out and they died down
instantly,
there.
Yeah, buried alive.
I'll go one step further. What if the Egyptians actually came from space and the sarcophagus was a UFO?
Crash landed?
What if that son of a bitch crash landed, cracked the side,
oh, shit,
and their life juice poured out? All the other pharaohs, the ones that built the pyramids, their juice stayed in the sarcophagus. So they all got out and they were fine and it was great. They were like, oh, what happened to Dave, Chris, and Michael? It's like, I don't know, we lost contact with their sarcophagus. It crashed, got buried in sand, and the red liquid drained out.
What happened to boy Prince Michael?
He should have been here by now. He was really excited to see Earth. There's a lot of theories. You know, there's a lot of theories. And honestly, I don't think we'll ever know what this beautiful forbidden nectar does until someone drinks it. And I know we said that it was poured out on the streets, but there's no
a vial.
way.
There's a vial.
There is a vial somewhere.
There's a T-virus style vial.
Yeah. And I think if someone does drink it, if it doesn't bring about the end of the world and it turns out to be just sewage water, it's going to bring about the end of their world because they'll die, I think. I think either way, whoever drinks it is going to die.
Yeah, it's kind of beautiful.
If it's from the curse itself, if it's because they're drinking 2,000-year-old
bin water,
skeleton-infested bin water, you're gonna die either way. I think, which is beautiful.
And I think that's something we can all agree on.
Yeah,
scientists, skeptics, believers alike. You will die if you drink it.
And the best part is even if it is sewage water and someone drinks it and dies from sewage water related illnesses, you can't tell me that's not a pharaoh's curse.
It's a curse.
It's a curse. Hands down, it's a curse. You could say you can see the bacteria dissolving their body from the inside. I'm like, yeah, the curse is getting them pretty hard. It's like they've got violent diarrhea and they're vomiting everywhere. That's the body trying to get rid of the curse, trying to get it out, flush the curse out.
This is you as a doctor talking to your patients. It's like, please, Dr. Powers, please dress my wounds. They're bleeding. Yeah, the curse nicked you pretty bad, I see. Good luck with that. I'm not touching you, cursed bitch.
They like hook him up to an IV drip. Slap it. Get that out of here. I needed an Egyptian priestess some crushed beetles, and water from the Nile.
He was a normal doctor until the other day, I swear.
Well, because it's a bonus episode, luckily we don't have to come down on a conclusion, which is what I love. But I think hopefully we're on the same page here. We're never going to find out what this thing is and what this thing is capable of until somebody drinks it, unfortunately. Which, I know we got the Area 51 raid coming up. I mean, if I was a betting man, I'd say that's where the vial is, probably. Behind sealed doors in one of the Area 51 chambers.
You know that they, in a high-tech facility, they're trying to reverse engineer the MILF juice. They are trying to work out its chemical components.
Oh, yeah.
You know, there's a scientist, you know, and he thinks he's nailed it. And he's taking like a little dropper pipette, one tiny drop of the red juice, the MILF juice, adding it to a frothing beaker to test it. As soon as that drop hits the beaker, it just blows him backwards. Explosion. It just splits the atom. The amount of energy in this thing.
Oh yeah, and he's like, his body just dissolves.
Yeah.
And then behind the bulletproof glass is some sort of general, and he looks down his notepad and crosses out a name that's like 305, because that's how many times they've done this.
Oh, a million times.
They've lost 304 scientists before this. They're going through them now. The scientists don't even want to go into Area 51 anymore because buses are going in full and coming out empty. It's really worrying stuff. So yeah, I think what we need to do is locate the surviving vials and really just drink it. I think, you know what? Instead of a yes or a no, this week it should be, Kit, would you drink the MILF juice? Yes or no?
Boy, I mean, that actually puts it in a really different way. I think any self-respecting paranormal investigator is going to hold their nose and down it in one.
Absolutely. I think I would straight up just beer bong it. You know, put it just all on the top there, and I'll do it in about 3 seconds. I think I'd like to hope that anyone that's listening to a bonus episode would plug their nose and chug it like an absolute bro, because that's the sort of sacrifices we have to make if you want to be part of the paranormal commune. I hope we're all on the same page here. We need to kickstart this change.org petition, and we need to drink the dark red liquid at the bottom of the cursed sarcophagus.
It's been a few years since the petition was started. I know the Interior Ministry of Antiquities in Egypt got back and said it was bullshit, but I think if we ramp it up now, we'll get some political traction on this. Pull some strings.
Yeah. Oh my god, I remember that one. That was a good one. Wow, guys, I hope you enjoyed a little sample of the bonus episodes. As we said, if you do enjoy it, there are 28 other episodes in the backlog available on patreon.com. Hope you're all staying healthy. Hope you're all staying safe. Mm-hmm. Hope you enjoyed this little taste. And, as always, we will see you next week with a brand new paranormal story.
See you then.